Heaven pauses for you tonight. Time bends. The noise of the world fades. And for a brief moment, eternity reaches through the veil to touch your heart. You might not have realized it, but this moment was written into the fabric of your existence long before you took your first breath. You are not here by chance. You are here because heaven has something urgent to say. God knows your heart. You've walked through days that felt heavier than they looked. You've smiled when you were breaking, encouraged others while secretly running on empty. And when night came, you lay awake, wondering if God still saw you. The silence made you doubt. But silence does not mean absence. Sometimes, heaven hides its movement so that your faith can grow roots. People may have misread your quietness as weakness. They didn't see the strength it takes to stay soft in a hard world. But there's one who has seen every battle you fought in private, every tear that never reached the ground. Nothing about you has gone unnoticed. As it is written in the first book of Samuel, chapter 16, verse 7, "The Lord does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." That single truth changes everything. It means that while others judge the surface, heaven studies the soul. When people only saw your mistakes, God saw your motive. When they saw inconsistency, He saw endurance. There was once a chosen one, a young man named Eliam. He worked quietly, always behind the scenes, never in the spotlight. Everyone around him seemed to be moving ahead while he stayed hidden. What they didn't know was that his hiddenness was sacred. Heaven was preparing him for a season his character needed to sustain. One night, as he looked up at the stars, he heard a whisper in his heart. "I am not training your hands for applause, I'm training your heart for purpose." That night, everything shifted. He realized being unseen did not mean being forgotten. Your story carries the same sacred rhythm. The hidden years have not been wasted, they have been holy. The delay was not denial, it was divine design. God has been guarding your heart from platforms that your soul wasn't ready to carry. He's been polishing the unseen, strengthening what no one else can see. Think of your heart as a secret garden. The gardener walks through it daily, pruning what cannot stay, watering what still breathes. Sometimes he cuts, and it hurts, but every cut is mercy. He's not removing you, he's refining you. You may feel like you've lost something, but you haven't lost the favor of God. In fact, this quiet season is proof that His hand is still upon you. The fire didn't come to burn you, it came to reveal the gold within you. Chosen one. The world measures progress by visibility, but heaven measures it by surrender. Every moment you refused to give up, every time you forgave what you could have hated, every time you stayed kind in a cruel season, those moments built a heart heaven could trust. You are not behind schedule. You are right on divine time. The God who knows your heart has been orchestrating every step, even the painful ones. He's writing a story that will make sense only when you look back and see that the thread of grace never broke. When morning comes, something in your spirit will feel lighter. You'll realize that your value was never in what you did, it was always in who you are to Him. So, before tomorrow arrives, surrender tonight. Whisper, "Search my heart. Lord, see me again." Let that prayer rise like incense. And when this message finds its way into your soul, don't keep it buried there. Someone else is waiting for a reminder that heaven still sees them. Press like, share it forward, and subscribe so you stay connected to what heaven is revealing in this season. And if this word resonated with you, comment 777 below as a declaration that you know heaven has paused. Just for you. You are seen. You are known. You are chosen, and heaven has not looked away. Heaven is closer than you think. Even now, something is shifting in the unseen. Peace is rising. Fear is breaking. And your heart is beginning to breathe again. The same God who watched over you in silence is now speaking with clarity. You are not forgotten. In this very moment, destiny stirs beneath the surface. What felt delayed is only being timed perfectly. Every unanswered prayer is aligning with the dawn that's about to break for you. So stand still for a second longer. Let gratitude fill the space where worry used to live. Tomorrow morning will not find you the same. Heaven has already moved. You have fought battles no one ever witnessed, the kind that leave no visible scars, yet drain the strength from your spirit. You've walked through the fire with a smile, so no one would ask questions. And you've carried burdens too sacred to explain. Heaven saw it all. Nothing about your struggle has been wasted. Every hidden ache has been recorded in divine memory. You've survived quiet wars, days when you wanted to give up but still showed up, nights when your pillow caught what your pride could not confess. You said you were fine, but heaven knew you weren't, and still, you rose. Each morning, you decided to get out of bed. You declared war on darkness. There was once a chosen one named Arya. She lived her life helping others, always giving, rarely receiving. But behind her kindness was exhaustion. She prayed for strength, yet felt none. One night, she broke down and whispered, "God, I don't even know how to keep believing." The next morning, she woke with a quiet calm. Nothing outside had changed, but her heart felt different. She realized that heaven had heard every silent prayer she never had the courage to speak. That's the same whisper that covers you tonight. The presence that comforted Arya has never left your side, even when your faith trembled, even when you stopped praying for a while. God did not stop watching over you. According to the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Those words are not poetry, they are a promise. When your heart broke, heaven drew closer. The very moments you thought God had abandoned you were the moments He held you most tightly. Pain does not push Him away, it invites His nearness. Imagine a clay vessel placed in the hands of the potter, cracked, uneven, imperfect. He does not discard it. He presses His fingers gently into the fractures, filling them with gold until the once broken vessel becomes a masterpiece. That is what He has been doing with you. Every fracture has become a place for His glory to shine through. Your mind has been a battlefield of contradictions, hope wrestling with despair, faith against fatigue. But every time you whispered, "I'll try again," heaven took note. That whisper carried the same power as a shout of victory. There's something sacred about survival. The world calls it endurance. Heaven calls it worship. Every day you chose to love when it would have been easier to close your heart. You mirrored the image of the one who first loved you. And perhaps that's why your season has felt longer than others. The stronger the foundation, the deeper the excavation must be. God has been building your roots where no one can see, preparing you to carry more than you ever thought possible. Remember this: the silence that surrounds you isn't evidence of God's absence, it's proof that He's trusting you with quiet growth. Seeds don't shout when they sprout, they simply rise. And you are rising. Even now, you may not feel strong, but strength isn't the absence of pain, it's the decision to keep walking through it. Look back for a moment. You've already survived what once terrified you. That alone is grace. So rest tonight in this truth. God knows every battle, every scar, every hidden tear that never fell. None of it was wasted. It has all been woven into the story He's writing through you. You don't need to strive for proof that you're chosen. The evidence is in your endurance. The fact that you're still here means heaven is not finished. When the next wave comes, you won't drown, you'll stand. Because what was meant to destroy you has only taught you how to breathe underwater. And that kind of strength doesn't vanish. It becomes eternal. There is beauty in what you've survived. Even the moments that broke you became teachers, shaping a heart that now beats with divine rhythm. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You are wiser, softer, stronger, a reflection of grace forged in fire. Soon, you will look back and realize that what felt like loss was actually construction. Heaven was rebuilding you from the inside out, aligning every fragment into purpose. Each wound became an open door where light could enter, transforming sorrow into strength. So, take a breath. Rest in the quiet. You don't need to rush the healing or understand the timing. The same God who saw you in the valley is already preparing the next mountain. You are still seen, still held, still chosen, and your story is far from over. And when dawn breaks, peace will find you. First, gentle, steady, undeniable proof that heaven never stopped holding your heart. You've spent so long searching for signs that you almost missed the truth. Heaven has been speaking to you all along, not through thunder, not through burning bushes, but through the quiet moments when your heart suddenly understood something it never learned. That was God, not coincidence, not luck. His voice has always been near. It just speaks softer when your soul gets louder. There are seasons when the voice of God sounds like silence because He's teaching you to trust without proof. You've been in that classroom lately. The lessons have come disguised as loss, as waiting, as disappointment. Yet every unanswered prayer has been an invitation, an opportunity to recognize His presence even when His hand feels hidden. A man once walked this same road of confusion. His name was Ezra. He prayed for direction, but heard nothing. For months, the heavens seemed sealed. But one evening, while tending a small fire, he realized something simple. The flame had stayed alive only because he kept feeding it, even when it flickered low. That's what faith is. Not loud, not dramatic, just consistent, just alive. It is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. That is heaven's invitation tonight. Stop trying to solve what God has already settled. You don't have to understand the plan to walk in it. You just have to trust the one who wrote it. You've been waiting for a loud confirmation. But the truth is, it's already here. The very peace you feel reading this, the way your chest loosens when you breathe, right now, that's the whisper of the Holy Spirit saying, "You're safe. Keep walking." A quote. Faith doesn't always look like certainty. Sometimes it looks like standing still when everything in you wants to run. You don't need another sign from the sky. Heaven has already placed one in your spirit. The light you've been praying for is rising within you. Think of a lighthouse standing against a storm. Waves crash, winds howl, but the beam never stops turning. It doesn't fight the darkness, it simply shines. That's you. You don't need to fix the storm, you just need to keep shining through it. The delay hasn't been a punishment, it's been training for discernment. God has been tuning your spirit, teaching you to recognize His tone even in the smallest details. Because when the next door opens, it won't look like a miracle. It will feel like alignment. You've been tested, not to expose weakness, but to prove endurance. Every unanswered prayer was shaping your hearing, making you sensitive to the subtle ways heaven speaks. It's not the thunder that changes you, it's the whisper that anchors you. So, if this message resonates in that deep, wordless part of your soul, pause for a moment, close your eyes, and whisper back. Sometimes, heaven only needs a small response to unlock a massive shift. Comment, "I trust," not as a ritual, not as superstition, but as a declaration. You're not typing words into a void. You're planting a seed in the atmosphere. When you write it, you're saying, even in silence, I choose to believe, even without proof. I know I'm guided. End quote. Because faith has never been about sight, it's about surrender. You're not lost. You're being led through shadows toward light. You're not stuck. You're stationed for growth. Heaven's map doesn't need to make sense to your mind. It only needs your heart to stay open. So take one more breath. Let the noise settle. Feel the quiet. That stillness, that's God. When you whisper, "I trust," something shifts in the spiritual realm. It's more than words. It's an act of alignment. Every time you choose trust over fear, you're proving that faith still lives inside you. It's a declaration to heaven that you're ready to walk without needing to see the entire path. Trust is not blind, it's brave. It doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pretending everything is fine. It means acknowledging the storm and still choosing to believe that the captain of your soul has not abandoned the ship. That kind of trust terrifies darkness because it cannot be shaken by circumstance. When you say, "I trust," you hand the pen back to God. You stop rewriting the ending out of panic and allow Him to finish the story. His way, it's surrender, not weakness. It's peace that stands, even when the wind roars louder. And what happens next is quiet transformation. Not lightning, not noise, but steady restoration. The heart that once trembled begins to find rhythm again. The same tears that once fell in confusion become rivers that water new beginnings. So, keep saying it when the night feels long. I trust. Say it when you don't know what's next. Heaven hears you, and that whisper moves mountains. Nothing in your life has been hidden from God's sight. Every unspoken thought, every quiet age, every act of kindness you offered when no one was watching, He saw it. You might think the moments that mattered most were the public ones, but heaven values the hidden. What is unseen on earth is often celebrated in eternity. You've walked through seasons that made you feel invisible. You've been faithful in small places, loyal in thankless spaces, and patient when everything inside you screamed to move faster. Yet the silence of heaven didn't mean neglect, it meant attention. God was studying your heart, not your performance. There's a sacred pattern in divine timing. He watches the posture before he releases the promise. The waiting room of heaven is not empty space. It's holy ground. Every delay has been shaping you, strengthening you, softening the parts of your heart that were too hardened by disappointment. Once, there was a man named Silas who served quietly in the background of his community. Others chased platforms. He chased presence. He often asked God, "Why do I feel unseen?" One evening, while reading by candlelight, he came across a verse that seemed to glow from the page. It said, "Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight." The words wrapped around him like warmth. That night, he realized that heaven had never lost track of him, as recorded in the book of Hebrews, chapter 4, verse 13. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of him to whom we must give account. End of. That verse isn't meant to instill fear, it's meant to bring relief, because it means you never have to perform for love. God already knows your intentions, your motives, your mistakes, and still chooses you. Think of it this way: your heart is a window, and God sees right through the glass, not to judge the dust that gathers, but to let his light in. The more transparent you are with him, the more his presence floods the room. You've been holding on to secrets, fears you can't explain, dreams too fragile to share. But there's freedom waiting when you finally say, "Here it is. God, this is me." Because the moment you stop hiding, healing begins. The world teaches you to cover your cracks, to pretend strength while breaking inside. Heaven teaches you the opposite, to bring the cracks to the light, because only what is exposed can be restored. Transparency isn't weakness, it's worship. You don't have to impress the one who made you. You don't have to earn his attention with noise. The quiet honesty of your heart is louder than any shout. Sometimes, the most powerful prayer is just silence with tears. Heaven understands tears better than words. Each drop is a message written in the language of surrender. And when your heart whispers what your mouth cannot, God translates it perfectly. You've wondered if your struggles disqualify you from purpose, but they don't. They deepen it. The scars you carry are not signs of failure, they're evidence of survival. Every mark is proof that grace held you when you couldn't hold yourself. There's a kind of beauty that only comes through being known completely. You no longer have to hide the parts that feel too complicated, too human. God's love doesn't flinch at your flaws. It sees the story behind every wound and calls it redemption. So if your heart feels heavy tonight, know this: it's safe in the hands that shaped it. He knows the reason behind every tear and the meaning behind every silence. There is nothing about you that surprises him. You are fully seen, fully known, fully loved. Heaven doesn't love the polished version of you. It loves the honest one. The one that trembles but still believes. The one that doubts but keeps hoping. The one that breaks but refuses to stop loving. That's the heart heaven calls worthy. And someday soon, what was hidden in private will be revealed in glory. The unseen faithfulness of today will become the harvest of tomorrow. Every moment you stayed true in silence is being written into eternity's song. You are not invisible. You are engraved on the palms of the eternal. And he has never once looked away. Even now, heaven leans close to the quiet corners of your heart. The places you thought were forgotten are glowing again under divine attention. What was hidden is being remembered. Every moment of faithfulness has been stored like treasure in God's hands. Not a single tear fell unnoticed. Not a single act of love went unseen. The record of your endurance is sacred. So rest, knowing you were never invisible. The eyes that formed the stars have been watching over you all along, steady, patient, tender, waiting for this very moment to remind you that you are known. There was a moment, maybe you remember it, when you almost gave up. The weight felt too heavy, the silence too long, and you thought maybe God had turned his face away. But somehow, something kept you standing. A flicker inside your chest refused to die out. That spark was heaven's hand holding your spirit steady. It's the same light that burns in you now, quietly declaring, you made it through. Every storm has its survivor, and you are one of them. You didn't just endure, you grew roots through the flood. The very things that tried to bury you became the soil for your resilience. And that, chosen one, is why heaven trusts you with messages like this. You know what it feels like to be rescued. You carry the memory of mercy, and it glows through everything you do. There's a sacred beauty in endurance. The world sees the scars, but heaven sees the stories behind them. Every one of your wounds became a doorway for light. That's why your presence carries peace. You've walked through fire and came out shining. It was written in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. Oh, that means nothing was wasted. The heartbreak, the delay, the confusion, it all carried hidden purpose. You may not see the full picture yet, but heaven has been weaving a tapestry behind the scenes, using every color of your experience, even the darker shades. Sometimes, when people see you're calm, they assume your journey was easy. They don't realize that peace was built brick by brick through countless nights of surrender. You've learned that faith isn't about control, it's about release. It's the art of unclenching your fists and trusting that the hands that hold the universe can also hold you. And now, as you listen to these words, you are part of something bigger. This isn't just a video, a message, or a moment. It's a movement, a stream of light that travels from heart to heart, reaching those who are on the edge, reminding them that heaven still speaks. Each time you like, share, or subscribe, you're not clicking a button, you're planting a seed of hope in someone else's wilderness. Every act becomes a ripple on the surface of eternity, carrying comfort where despair once lived. And if this message has ever found you when you were sinking, if it has whispered peace into your storm, then consider watering this light. Your donation is not payment, it's participation. Think of it as adding oil to a lamp that must never go out. When you give, you're not funding words, you're fueling warmth. Like the hand that tends the fire so the traveler can find shelter, your generosity becomes part of that glow. But let it be gentle. Give only if your heart moves. Let it come from gratitude, not pressure. Even a single coin, when offered in love, resounds like music in heaven. And if giving isn't possible, your prayer and your share are equal acts of light. Every comment, every click, every whisper of amen builds the bridge that keeps this message alive. Your presence is already a gift. So, as this message closes, take a breath and ask, what can I pour back into the light that poured into me? Whether it's a like, a share, a prayer, or a small offering, it all keeps the flame burning for the next soul searching in the dark. Because love that is forced fades quickly, but love freely given glows forever. And as the light you've received flows outward, heaven smiles. You are no longer just a listener, you are a keeper of the flame. Every gift of love, whether a kind word, a quiet prayer, or a simple act of giving, becomes a seed in heaven's garden. You may never see where it blooms, but somewhere, someone will breathe easier because of the faith you sowed today. The world measures impact in numbers, but heaven measures it in hearts touched. Each small act of generosity, each gentle share of light, expands the borders of hope farther than you could ever imagine. You are part of that invisible miracle. When you give from a place of gratitude, it's like releasing a dove into the open sky. You don't control where it flies, but it always returns, carrying peace. That's how blessings work. They circle back in unexpected seasons. So, as you move forward, keep tending that inner fire. Keep sharing what heaven places in your hands. You are the continuation of this message, the living echo of light that never fades. You've been walking through a refining season, one where motives are tested and hearts are weighed. It hasn't been easy. Sometimes it feels like the ground beneath you is shifting, like everything that once made sense is dissolving. But listen carefully. This isn't destruction, it's transformation. God isn't breaking you down. He's burning away what can't go with you into the next season. You've prayed for elevation, and heaven heard you. But before promotion comes purification. Before glory comes refinement. The fire you've been standing in isn't meant to consume you. It's meant to reveal what's truly gold within you. There's a story of a craftsman who spent years perfecting his art of refining silver. When asked how he knew the metal was ready, he said, "When I can see my reflection clearly in it." That's what heaven is doing with your heart right now. The trials are not punishment. They are the polish that makes his reflection shine through you. As declared in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the Levites and refine them like gold and silver." And you've been in that fire. And maybe you've questioned why it feels unending. But the refiner never leaves the furnace unattended. His eyes are fixed on you, steady and watchful, waiting for the moment. He sees himself in your resilience, in your faith, in your surrender. Every disappointment, every delay, every heartbreak has been part of that refining. You've lost some things along the way. Friendships, habits, comfort zones, but what remains is real. What remains is holy. What remains is you, unmasked and unshakable. Think of gold. It only becomes valuable after pressure, heat, and time. You are being shaped by the same process. Heaven is not trying to hurt you. It's trying to reveal you. There's a chosen one whose story mirrors yours. His name was Caleb. He prayed for purpose. But instead of open doors, he faced rejection after rejection. He couldn't understand why every opportunity slipped away. One day, he cried out, "Lord, why are you holding me back?" And the Spirit whispered, "Because I'm not holding you back. I'm holding you still. What I'm preparing in you must be pure before it's public." Not that changed everything. Caleb stopped fighting the process and started trusting the purpose. The moment he surrendered, peace replaced frustration, and not long after, the very doors that once closed began to open effortlessly. You, too, are in that divine pause, a sacred preparation. Heaven has been quiet, not because you're forgotten, but because you're being forged. The silence isn't rejection, it's precision. You might feel the heat, but remember, the fire that purifies never destroys what's true. The more it burns, the brighter your purpose becomes. And soon, the same people who saw you walk through the flames will see you emerge radiant, carrying wisdom that only the furnace could give. They'll ask how you endured, and your answer will be simple: God was with me in the fire. When you surrender your timeline, heaven accelerates your destiny. So, release the need to rush. Let patience be your praise. Let trust be your testimony. You are being refined for something bigger, something sacred. Your next season will demand purity of heart. And that's exactly what this season has been creating within you. Now, if this word stirs something deep within your spirit, if you know this fire has been divine rather than destructive, pause for a moment and acknowledge it. Let your comment be your declaration to heaven, not for others to see, but for the spiritual realm to hear. Comment 555. That number isn't magic, it's a mark of surrender. It's saying, I understand now. I'm not fighting the fire anymore. I'm letting it finish its work. Every time you type it, you're saying to heaven, refine me until I reflect you. The refining may be painful, but it's purposeful. It's producing gold that cannot fade, character that cannot be bought, and peace that cannot be shaken. So hold still. The refiner's hands are steady, and when he's done, you'll see what he saw all along, a masterpiece that carries the light of his image. When you comment 555, you're not performing a ritual, you're acknowledging a revelation. It's a whisper of agreement between your spirit and heaven's timing. You're saying, I trust the refining. I choose transformation over comfort. That simple act becomes your amen in motion. It's a spiritual signal, not for attention, but alignment. When you write it, you mark this moment as the turning point, the instant your pain gained purpose. Heaven records such declarations. They echo like fire meeting gold, announcing the refining is complete, and the vessel is ready to shine. There comes a point in every journey when what once made sense begins to unravel. You've reached that place, the edge between who you were and who you are becoming. It's both terrifying and sacred, because transformation rarely feels like triumph while it's happening. It feels like loss. It feels like uncertainty wrapped in silence. Yet, in that tension, heaven is shaping something eternal. You've been asking, why do I feel stripped of everything familiar? The answer is this: God is clearing space. When you prayed for new beginnings, you didn't realize it required endings. Before He can fill your hands, He has to empty them. The pruning may sting, but it's mercy disguised as pain. The Word of God declares in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 2, every branch that bears fruit, He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You are that branch. The pruning isn't punishment, it's preparation. The gardener only trims what's alive. Dead branches are abandoned, but fruitful ones are refined. You're being shaped for abundance. In this season, You've probably noticed things fading, certain friendships, old habits, even desires that once defined you. That's not regression, it's growth. Heaven removes what no longer serves your future. The version of you that God is calling forth cannot be built upon what you've outgrown. It's like a snake shedding its skin, not because it hates the old one, but because staying in it would suffocate what's growing beneath. You can't fit into the shell of a former season. The friction you feel isn't failure, it's your spirit stretching into something larger. You've felt the pull between past and promise. Memories have called you backward, whispering comfort, while faith keeps pointing you forward. This tug of war is divine. It's heaven training your heart to trust the unseen. There's a story of a man named Elias who once feared transition. He loved routine, structure, and predictability. But when God called him into something new, everything familiar collapsed. His job ended, relationships shifted, and silence filled the spaces where certainty used to live. At first, he thought he had been forsaken, but over time, he realized God had not abandoned him. God had invited him. The breaking was not betrayal, it was birthing. That's the same invitation before you now. What feels like a breakdown is actually a breakthrough in disguise. The discomfort is not a sign that you're lost, it's a sign that you're close. Heaven's stretching always comes before heaven's showing. Look back for a moment. Every time you thought it was over, something new emerged. Every ending held the seed of a beginning. Every closed door redirected you to a path you wouldn't have chosen, but now can't imagine living without. Growth demands separation. The cocoon looks like a tomb until the wings unfold. The soil looks like a grave until the seed breaks open. The pattern has always been the same: death before resurrection, surrender before glory. And here you are, standing in that sacred middle space. It's messy, yes, but it's meaningful. God is closer than you think, even in the pruning, especially in the pruning, because He prunes with purpose, and He never wastes a single cut. This process is refining your perception. You're learning to see beyond surface blessings, to value character over comfort. You're being taught patience, the kind that doesn't just wait, but trusts while waiting. If you could see what heaven is preparing, you'd stop resisting the process. Every tear you've shed has watered something divine. Every disappointment has dug the soil for new growth. Right now, in the unseen, new roots are forming. The same God who planted you in the beginning is ensuring you'll bear fruit in the right season. You may not see the buds yet, but they're coming. The branch that bends in the storm will soon blossom in the sun. So breathe. You are not falling apart. You are being rearranged. The shaking isn't the end, it's alignment. Everything that's leaving your life is making room for what's meant to stay. You don't need to force the next chapter. The author is already writing it. The pruning is temporary, the purpose is eternal. In time, the pain that now feels endless will reveal itself as the turning point. You'll look back and realize that this was the season heaven carved your roots deeper than ever before. Until then, keep walking in quiet trust, even when you can't see progress. Heaven sees movement. Even when you feel cut down, you're still connected to the vine. You are not finished, you're being refined. And the hands that prune are the same hands that promise fruitfulness. There are moments when heaven holds up a mirror and asks you to look again, not at your reflection, but at your essence. You've changed more than you realize. What you see now is not who you were a year ago, or even a month ago. Every battle, every quiet surrender, every whispered yes to God has reshaped you into someone more radiant, more resilient, more real. It's easy to underestimate what transformation looks like when you're in the middle of it. You wake up feeling the same, facing the same circumstances, wondering if anything is shifting. But heaven has been working in layers, unseen yet unstoppable. Growth rarely announces itself. It unfolds like dawn, subtle, soft, steady, until one day you realize the darkness has lifted and light fills the room. It is written in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 18. And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory. You are becoming something holy. The transformation isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet, sacred, and irreversible. God is shaping your heart to carry his reflection without cracking under the weight of glory. That's why this season has felt heavy. The vessel is expanding. When a sculptor begins with stone, the masterpiece doesn't emerge by adding, but by removing, strike after strike. The chisel cuts away what doesn't belong until beauty is revealed. That's what heaven has been doing to you. Every loss, every closed door, every goodbye has been one more careful strike. One more piece of excess falling away to reveal purpose. There's a story of a woman named Mirren. She used to pray for God to change her surroundings, to fix the things and people that caused her pain. But the more she prayed, the more nothing changed except her. Slowly, she realized the prayer wasn't unanswered. It was redirected. Heaven wasn't changing her world. Heaven was changing her within it. That's the secret of divine transformation. It starts inward before it manifests outward. The shift you're craving externally begins in the heart, in your thoughts, in how you respond when the world pushes against you. You might feel overlooked right now, but invisibility is often the workshop of identity. God hides what he's shaping until it's ready to shine. He protected your growth from premature exposure because he knew your roots needed depth before your branches reached height. Transformation is rarely gentle. It's the unlearning of what used to keep you safe and the embracing of what now sets you free. It's the art of letting go of control, of timelines, of expectations. It's realizing that the real miracle isn't that mountains move, but that your heart stays soft while waiting for them to. Sometimes you mistake stillness for stagnation, but what if heaven calls it incubation? The seed beneath the soil looks motionless, but within, it's splitting, stretching, preparing to break through. You are in that sacred in-between. Look at your scars differently now. They are not reminders of failure, but maps of survival. Each one tells heaven's story written through your humanity. They prove that grace did not abandon you in the furnace. It danced with you there. The world might call it struggle, but heaven calls it shaping. Each challenge has been chiseling strength into your spirit, tenderness into your voice, and vision into your eyes. You are being carved into a vessel of understanding, a living testimony of what redemption feels like. It's okay that you still have questions. Transformation doesn't erase them. It teaches you how to hold them without losing faith. Even Jesus, in his most human moment, asked why, and heaven responded not with explanation, but with resurrection. So, when you feel uncertain, Don't rush to fix the feeling. Sit with it. Transformation takes time. And beauty doesn't bloom under panic. The caterpillar doesn't climb out of its cocoon early. It waits until its wings are strong enough to handle the wind. You are still inside your becoming. The struggle, the silence, the stretching, they are all sacred tools in the hands of the potter. He is molding you into someone who will not only endure, but illuminate. Soon, what you've endured will serve as light for others. They will see your calm, your clarity, and your courage, and they'll know that transformation is real because they saw you live it. Until that day, rest in the process. You're not behind. You're unfolding exactly on time. The mirror heaven holds will soon reveal not what's missing, but what's been magnificently made. You have reached a sacred threshold, the moment when what was hidden begins to surface. The exposure isn't to embarrass you, it's to free you. Heaven reveals only what it intends to heal. You've been asking for clarity, and now the light has come, not to condemn, but to cleanse. There are things in your life that can't journey forward with you. The season of silent tolerance is ending. God is revealing what's true, both within and around you. It's not to bring shame, but to bring separation. Sometimes He exposes what's false so you can finally see what's real. It's uncomfortable when truth starts breaking through. Old patterns resist. Relationships strain. The familiar trembles. But don't misread the shaking. It's not destruction, it's deliverance. Heaven shakes what can be shaken so that what cannot be shaken may remain. As written in the book of Luke, chapter 8, verse 17, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought into the open." Exposure is not rejection, it's revelation. God reveals not to humiliate, but to heal. The light is gentle, even when it feels intense. It doesn't burn to destroy, it burns to purify. You've prayed for growth, but growth requires truth. The soil of your spirit must be cleared of deception before fruit can flourish. That's what heaven is doing now, removing the weeds of fear, pride, and pretense, so new life can rise, unhindered. There's a woman whose story mirrors this season. Her name was Raina. She lived with a quiet sadness, knowing she wasn't being honest with herself about what was holding her back. She smiled through emptiness, convinced that pretending was easier than confronting. But one day, she heard a voice within say, "If you hide the wound, it can't heal." That was her moment of exposure, gentle, yet undeniable. It didn't destroy her, it delivered her. She wept, not from shame, but from freedom. That's what heaven is offering you now, a holy unveiling. You can't carry pretenses into your promise. The mask you wore for survival is being removed. Not to leave you bare, but to leave you real. You might lose some things in this process, but what remains will be pure. The relationships that survive the light are the ones rooted in truth. The habits that remain are those aligned with purpose. The version of you that emerges will breathe easier, life lighter, and love deeper. This unveiling is sacred. It is heaven's surgery, a removal of what's infected so that new strength can form. You'll find that what once terrified you to face becomes the very thing that frees you. Think of the sunrise. It exposes the shadows, but it also warms what the darkness once froze. Light is not your enemy. It's your evidence that God is still working. So, As you stand in this revealing moment, resist the urge to hide. Let the light do its work. What's being uncovered isn't meant to shame you. It's meant to release you into authenticity. The truth that once scared you will soon become the truth that saves you. And in that freedom, you'll breathe differently. You'll walk without pretending, speak without rehearsing, and live without fear. This is heaven's mercy in motion, the holy exposure that births real transformation. Now, take a quiet moment. Breathe. Feel what stirs in your spirit. If this message meets you in that deep place where truth is confronting you, let your response be simple, yet sacred. Comment, "I'm ready." Those two words aren't for the algorithm, they're for the altar. You're saying, "I'm done hiding. I choose honesty. I'm ready for the light." Heaven hears those words as surrender. And where there's surrender, there's freedom. Step into the light, not as someone who failed, but as someone finally found. The truth has come not to punish, but to purify. When you comment, "I'm ready," it's more than participation, it's proclamation. You're declaring that you no longer fear being seen. It's your way of saying, "God, I'm willing to let you finish what you started." That phrase becomes a spiritual key, unlocking peace where secrecy once lived. Read it again slowly. I'm ready. Ready to release the old. Ready to face the truth. Ready to walk in light. It's a short sentence, but heaven understands it as surrender, the moment when hiding ends and healing begins. Every time someone writes it, a ripple moves through the unseen. Chains of silence loosen. Hearts soften, and the weight of pretending lifts. It's not just a comment, it's the sound of freedom echoing across eternity. There are moments when heaven starts to unseal the scrolls of your destiny. You sense it, an invisible stirring, a quiet rearranging of things around you. Doors that were once closed begin to tremble. Opportunities start to echo your name, not by coincidence, but by divine alignment. This is that season for you. The air feels different because heaven is moving. You've prayed, waited, obeyed, and endured. And now, heaven whispers, the time is near. The shift isn't loud, it's subtle, sacred, like dawn spilling slowly across the horizon. You can feel the light inching closer, though the night still lingers. That tension is holy. It means promise is approaching. It is recorded in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it lingers. Wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. Those words remind you that heaven never forgets what it promises. There is a specific time for your unveiling, and it cannot be rushed nor delayed. What belongs to you is already in motion. Your name has been spoken in places your feet haven't yet reached. Picture this, a sealed letter, written in gold ink, carried by the wind of heaven. It's addressed to you, waiting for the right moment to land. That's your destiny, protected, prepared, and perfectly timed. But as heaven prepares to release your next chapter, it also invites you into partnership. The work of the kingdom has never been a solo mission. It's a chorus of hearts, a river that keeps flowing because many hands pour water into it. That's where this moment becomes more than listening. It becomes living. When you like, share, or subscribe, you are not performing a digital act. You are echoing a spiritual one. You're helping send light into places you may never physically reach. Every interaction extends the wings of this message further into the night. Imagine it this way. You're standing on the shore, holding a lantern. When you lift it higher, others at sea find their direction. Your simple action becomes someone else's lifeline. The comment, the share, the like, it all matters more than you know. And if this message has touched you deeply, if it has spoken peace into your storm or hope into your waiting, consider helping keep the lantern burning. A donation isn't payment, it's participation in the miracle. Think of it as adding oil to the flame. The brighter the flame, the more souls can find their way home. Some will never meet you, yet their hearts will be warmed by the light you helped sustain. When you give, you become a gardener of hope. Each gift is a seed planted in sacred soil. You may never see where it blooms, but heaven tracks every seed. And the beauty of spiritual giving is that nothing planted in love ever dies. It multiplies in ways only eternity can measure. There's a fisherman's parable whispered through generations. One man cast his net alone and caught little, but when many hands lifted the same net, the catch overflowed. That's what happens when souls link together to spread light. What was once small becomes abundant. Still, let giving be a melody of the heart, not a burden on the hand. Give only if peace accompanies the impulse. Heaven never demands, it invites. Love never forces, it flows. And even if what you offer isn't financial, your presence here is already precious. Your prayer, your voice, your encouragement, they are all part of the river that carries this message forward. Every share is a ripple. Every kind word is a wave. If you have ever been lifted by words like these, if you've ever whispered, "This spoke to me," then help pass that feeling forward. Like, share, subscribe not as an obligation, but as a celebration of light continuing to move through you. It's the same principle that governs the stars. One burns, another catches fire, until the whole sky gleams. You are one of those stars now. Your glow helps someone else see. So, as you finish this message, sit with gratitude for what heaven has already done. Feel the weight of peace settle over your chest. You're part of something eternal, a stream of light, an unbroken chain of grace. And if your heart whispers to give, whether through time, prayer, or offering, follow that whisper. It's not about amount, it's about alignment. The smallest spark can set 1,000 lanterns aglow, because heaven doesn't measure giving by the hand, it measures it by the heart. So, lift your lantern. Chosen one, keep the river flowing, the flame burning, and the message alive. What you pour out today becomes tomorrow's light for someone still searching. There's a quiet war that happens inside every chosen soul, the battle between comparison and contentment. You felt it before, haven't you? The silent measuring of your progress against someone else's pace, the wondering if you're too late, too small, too behind. But what you must know now is this: heaven doesn't compare its creations. Each path is sacred, each timing divine. Comparison is a thief that dresses like motivation. It whispers, "You're not enough yet," while pretending to inspire you. But in truth, it steals joy from the present moment. It blinds you to what's already growing beautifully within your own field. You can't see your own fruit when your eyes are fixed on someone else's harvest. According to what is written in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 4, each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone, without comparing themselves to someone else. The scripture isn't an instruction to isolate, it's a call to authenticity. It reminds you that heaven measures obedience, not visibility. The question is never, how far have you gone? But rather, have you gone where I asked you to go? Think of a forest. Every tree reaches upward, but none competes with the other. The oak doesn't envy the pine, and the willow doesn't despise the birch. Each one grows at its appointed pace, nourished by the same rain, rooted in the same earth. You, too, are part of that divine ecosystem. You don't have to rush or compare, you only have to keep growing toward the light. There once was a man named Darius who struggled with this very tension. He loved God deeply, but every time someone around him succeeded, he felt smaller. He would look at their lives and whisper, "What about me, Lord?" For years he lived in quiet frustration, always chasing the next achievement to prove his worth. Then one night, while walking alone under a sky dusted with stars, a thought landed softly in his heart. The stars don't compete, they simply shine. Knock. That revelation changed him. From that moment on, Darius stopped comparing his light to others. He started focusing on what was entrusted to him. He began noticing beauty in his own lane. And as he did, his peace returned, his joy deepened, and his purpose sharpened. You see, heaven never asked you to be impressive, just faithful. You don't need to run faster, you need to walk truer. The finish line isn't a competition, it's a calling. The world will always shout, do more, be more, prove more. But heaven whispers, be still and trust me. You are not missing out. You are being measured differently. Some plant bloom quickly. Others take years before their first flower, but both are still part of the same garden. Even the moon reflects light differently through its phases. Sometimes it's full and bright. Sometimes it's just a sliver, but even when hidden, it's still the moon. In the same way, your worth doesn't shrink in seasons of quiet. Hidden growth is still growth. Comparison thrives where gratitude is absent. The moment you start thanking God for your lane, envy loses its power. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. It softens the striving and invites peace back home. So breathe. Release the need to keep up. The pressure you feel isn't coming from heaven, it's coming from hurry. God isn't impatient with your process. He's not waiting at the finish line tapping his foot. He's walking beside you, step by step, celebrating progress others may never see. You are not behind, you are aligned. The delay isn't disfavor, it's divine pacing. Heaven knows when the soil of your heart is ready for harvest, and it won't rush the rain before the roots can handle it. Look again at your journey. What if everything that seems slow was actually saving you from collapse? What if God's timing has been your greatest protection? Your race is sacred. Your rhythm is divine. Heaven delights in your unique melody, not your ability to imitate someone else's song. So let comparison fall away like leaves in autumn. Let contentment settle over you like sunlight on still water. Rest in the truth that your path is yours alone, and that's its beauty. Because the same God who crafted constellations made you, and he never repeats himself. You were never meant to mirror anyone else's journey. The masterpiece of your life carries a brushstroke no other soul can paint. Walk boldly in your rhythm. Heaven is already applauding the harmony only you can create. Something is about to shift before the dawn. You can sense it, a stillness, a pause in the spiritual air, as if heaven itself is holding its breath. You've been waiting, praying, hoping, wondering when the silence would break. And tonight, heaven whispers, it's almost time. You've been in the midnight hour for a while now. That hour when everything feels stretched thin, when hope flickers like the last candle in a storm. But what you may not realize is that midnight is not the end of a day, it's the beginning of a new one. The moment darkness reaches its peak is also the moment light begins to return. Heaven hasn't been ignoring your prayers, it's been preparing your moment. The delay has been a setup for display. The silence has been a sign that something sacred is forming in the unseen. As written in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5, weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. 1. That is not just a promise, it's a prophecy over your life. Your night has been long, but your morning is already breaking through the horizon. You might not see it yet, but heaven is already shifting the atmosphere in your favor. In ancient times, shepherds used to watch the sky at night to measure the coming dawn. The coldest, darkest part always came just before the first light. That's where you are right now, the turning point. The night isn't winning, it's weakening. The new day is closer than you think. You've endured seasons that felt like endless waiting. You've watched others move forward while you stood still, wondering if your time had passed. But heaven says, your turn hasn't been denied, it's being defined. You're not late, you're right on schedule. Destiny has not skipped over your name, it has been protecting it until the right hour. What's meant for you cannot be stolen, delayed, or replaced. It can only mature. Think of a fruit tree. If it ripens too early, it spoils before harvest. But if it waits through the heat, the wind, and the rain, the fruit becomes sweeter, stronger, more lasting. You are that tree. The waiting has deepened your flavor. This is your almost morning moment. The horizon is glowing faintly, and heaven's clock is moving toward fulfillment. The same God who saw your tears at midnight will be the one who crowns you with joy at sunrise. And right here, as you read these words, heaven is asking you to do something simple but powerful, to respond in faith, to mark this moment of transition, to declare that you are ready to step into the light that's rising for you. Comment 888. That number symbolizes new beginnings, divine order, and the completion of a waiting cycle. You're not just typing digits, you're aligning with the rhythm of heaven. You're saying, I am stepping out of the night and into my dawn. When you write it, let it be your covenant with light. You're declaring that you will no longer mourn what has passed, but embrace what is coming. You're choosing hope over fear, peace over panic, and faith over frustration. There's something holy about that simple act. It's not superstition, it's symbolism. It's a way to say to heaven, I'm ready for my morning. Because when faith speaks, heaven listens. And when heaven listens, earth shifts. Every time someone types 888, it echoes like footsteps of dawn across the world. It becomes a chorus of souls saying, the night didn't win, we're still standing. So tonight, let that number be your sunrise. Let it mark your turning point. The weeping that once filled your nights will become worship that fills your mornings. And as light begins to break, you'll see that everything the darkness tried to steal, your joy, your peace, your identity, has been restored in brighter colors. This is the moment heaven writes your after pain, after silence, after waiting. The light is here, and it carries your name. So, stand still for a second. Breathe deeply. Feel the weight of the night lifting. The new day isn't coming. It's already begun. You've waited well. You've endured faithfully. And heaven rewards both. When you comment 888, it's not a number. It's a declaration. You're saying, I welcome what's new. I release what's old. It's your signal to heaven that you're stepping out of waiting and into fulfillment. No longer surviving the night, but embracing the dawn. Every time someone types 888, the act becomes prophetic, a shared sunrise across souls. It means alignment, awakening, and arrival. You're joining a collective of hearts that say, light has found us. Heaven records that courage and calls it readiness, the first step into your promised morning. There are times when mercy doesn't whisper, it knocks. It doesn't arrive with thunder or flashing signs, but with a quiet conviction that settles deep in your spirit. You've felt it before. That tug on your heart that says, come back. Come closer. It's not condemnation, it's calling. Heaven's hand reaching through the noise, asking you to return to purity of heart before the moment passes. Mercy has a rhythm. It comes again and again, patient and kind, but not endless. There is a window to respond, a sacred pause before consequence takes its course. This is that moment, a gentle warning wrapped in love. The ancient words recorded in the book of Hosea, chapter 14, verse 1. Declare, return, O Israel, to the Lord your God, for you have stumbled because of your iniquity. Oh, those words were not written to shame, but to restore. They remind us that God's heart doesn't grow cold toward his children. It burns to bring them home, even when rebellion builds walls. Mercy builds doors. You may think you've wandered too far, but there is no distance mercy cannot cross. Heaven has chased you through your doubts, your distractions, your weariness, and still whispers, I'm not finished with you. You see, mercy is not weakness, it's warfare. It fights for the heart that doesn't even know it's in danger. It stands between judgment and grace, holding the line for one more chance, one more moment of surrender. There was a man named Jonah who ran from his calling, convinced he could outrun the voice of God. But even in the storm, even in the depths, mercy followed him. It didn't scold, it saved. It sent a great fish, not as punishment, but as preservation. Jonah thought he had fallen into consequence, but he had fallen into compassion. That's the kind of mercy chasing you right now, not one that condemns, but one that captures before you collapse. Heaven is calling you back to softness, back to simplicity, back to sincerity of heart. It's easy to drift. Life pulls. Distractions multiply. And before you realize it, your heart grows numb to what once stirred you. But the call of mercy awakens the part of you that still remembers what it's like to feel alive in His presence. There's an old saying, grace rescues, but mercy restores. Grace pulled you out of the pit, But mercy rebuilds what broke while you were there. That's what's happening now. Restoration from the inside out. You can almost feel it, a quiet conviction. Not to punish, but to purify. The same God who created galaxies is leaning close, not to demand perfection, but to remind you of your worth. You don't need to earn your way back. You just need to turn your heart again. Mercy doesn't wait for perfection. It meets you in process. It doesn't demand proof. It asks for honesty. And when it finds even a flicker of willingness, it fans it into flame. Sometimes, heaven withdraws its loudness so your heart can rediscover the whisper. You've been in that quiet lately, haven't you? Feeling like something is shifting inside. A subtle urgency pressing you to realign, to let go of what's been draining your spirit. That's not anxiety, it's invitation. Mercy is knocking softly, not to accuse, but to awaken. If you ignore the whisper long enough, it grows silent, not out of anger, but sorrow. Mercy never forces, it offers. But when you respond, the entire atmosphere changes. The burden lifts. The air clears. The heart begins to beat freely again. You were never meant to live half awake, half believing. Heaven designed you to burn with love that darkness cannot comprehend. Mercy's call is not to shame you for cooling. It's to reignite what once made you radiant. Take this moment seriously, not with fear, but with reverence, because every great revival begins not in a crowd, but in a single heart that finally says, I'm coming home. Lo, no matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how long you've wandered, mercy still knows your name. It still calls you mine. Lo, so listen closely. The door of grace is open wide, but it won't stay open forever. Not because God grows tired of forgiving, but because your heart wasn't made to live halfway between surrender and self. This is your return. Quiet, personal, holy. Mercy isn't scolding, it's saving. It's the soft light before sunrise, the hand reaching before the fall, the last knock before silence. Open. Answer. Let your heart come home again. There is a sacred rhythm to divine justice, slow, steady, certain. You may not see it unfold in real time, but heaven's balance never errs. Every false word, every unseen betrayal, every wound that went unacknowledged has not been forgotten. The God who watches in silence does not overlook. He observes until the appointed moment of reversal. You've walked through seasons where wrong seemed to win and truth appeared buried. You've watched others rise through deceit while your integrity cost you dearly. You've cried out, "Doesn't heaven see?" And the silence that followed almost convinced you that righteousness was wasted effort. But listen carefully now. Justice delayed is not justice denied. Heaven was simply aligning your vindication with divine timing. It is revealed in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 7. The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. Those words are more than comfort, they are a verdict. Heaven's goodness is not passive, it's protective. When you trust him through injustice, you're not forfeiting victory, you're letting him fight differently. Imagine a seed buried deep in darkness. It appears lifeless while the soil presses down, but beneath the surface, a reversal is happening. The same weight that seemed to bury it becomes the pressure that births its roots. That's how heaven works. The seasons that seemed to crush you were cultivating your foundation. Every injustice you endured has been written in the archives of eternity. Heaven is not indifferent to the tears that came from betrayal or the pain that came from silence. But instead of returning injury for injury, heaven writes poetry from pain. God is crafting vindication that will be redemptive, not petty, purposeful, not performative. Think of Joseph, betrayed by brothers, forgotten by men, but remembered by God. When his reversal came, it didn't simply elevate him, it restored everything that had been stripped away. That's what divine justice looks like, not mere revenge, but restoration. There's a chosen one story like that of Joseph, a woman named Ilara. She lost her position at work because she refused to compromise her integrity. While others prospered through deceit, she was left without a title or paycheck. Months later, when she had almost given up, an unexpected message came. A new opportunity, higher than before, created specifically for her name. The one who had wronged her had been exposed without her saying a word. She realized then God's justice doesn't need an audience, it needs obedience. That's what heaven is preparing for you. Silent vindication. You won't need to prove anything. The same mouths that doubted you will bear witness to your rise, and even they will know it was God who did it. You see, divine reversal is rarely loud. It unfolds like sunrise gradually, beautifully, undeniably. One by one, the things that oppressed you lose their grip, and what once stood against you becomes a stepping stone. The delay you've endured has been refinement, not rejection. If God had moved sooner, the victory might have been smaller, but He's been weaving justice into something more profound, a testimony that will not just clear your name, but crown your journey. Your peace will be your proof. When you stop explaining, stop defending, and simply rest in trust, heaven starts to move. The scales begin to tip, and the story begins to turn. Justice doesn't always come in the form of punishment, it often comes in peace. The moment you no longer crave revenge, you make space for resurrection. Because God's justice isn't about evening the score, it's about writing a better one. So don't be surprised when doors reopen without your knocking. When favor returns without your striving. That's how vindication arrives, not through control, but through surrender. Every setback was a setup for reversal. Every lie that was spoken about you became fertilizer for truth to bloom brighter. And when the unveiling happens, you won't have to announce it. It will be obvious. The fragrance of restoration speaks louder than words. Stand firm. Then, the storm that came to scatter you is now scattering seeds that will grow into testimony. The same ground that once held your tears will soon hold your triumph. Heaven's reversal is not coming, it has already begun. It's moving quietly, faithfully, perfectly. The scales are tipping. The story is turning. And the victory that once felt distant is already in motion. Trust that the Judge of all the earth will do right. The one who kept count of every injustice will now repay in mercy and in measure. And when your reversal unfolds, remember, this isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving that faith was never in vain. The path that once felt endless is nearing its turn. You've carried the weight, endured the silence, and kept walking even when the road disappeared beneath your feet. What you may not realize is that every step of obedience has been counted. Every unseen act of faith has been building toward this moment. Heaven is preparing your coronation, not of pride, but of purpose. Your pain wasn't wasted. The crown that waits for you wasn't handed, it was forged. Every tear became a thread in its design. Every prayer, a gem in its setting. You've been walking through fire not to be burned, but to be branded by glory. It is written in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 10. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. That verse isn't theory, it's a living promise. You've suffered a little while, and now restoration is stepping onto your timeline. Heaven is clothing you in quiet strength. The very pain that humbled you is the same pain that qualified you. Imagine a crown being placed upon your head, not made of gold, but of light. Each beam represents endurance, faith, forgiveness, restraint, love. Heaven's coronation doesn't require applause, it happens in stillness. The ceremony began long ago, when you refused to quit. There's something sacred about those who wear invisible crowns. They are the ones who serve while bleeding, who believe without recognition, who keep showing up when no one thanks them. That's you. You've been wearing glory disguised as perseverance. Now heaven invites you to lift your head again, not out of arrogance, but out of acknowledgement. The journey has refined you into royalty. You are being entrusted with greater influence, not for power, but for purpose. And as this message reaches you, you're part of something holy, a community of light bearers. These words travel further than you can imagine, finding the weary, the wounded, the waiting. Every time you share, every time you engage, you become a messenger yourself. When you like, share, or subscribe, think of it not as an action, but as an offering. It's a way of saying, let the light that found me find someone else. It's passing the torch, extending the flame that once revived your own faith. Your comment becomes your footprint in eternity's sand. Every word of encouragement, every amen, every heart left beneath a message is a ripple that keeps moving long after the scroll ends. Someone, somewhere, will read your words and breathe again. When you write beneath this message, imagine it as adding another jewel to your crown, a quiet act of light, joining countless others. It's not about being seen, it's about keeping the flame alive through honesty and connection. Heaven counts even that as worship, and if your heart has ever whispered, I wish I could do more, there's a way. To give is to water the soil that birthed your strength. It's not payment, it's participation in grace's continuation. Think of your gift like rain falling quietly on a thirsty field. You may not see what grows, but heaven does. Every act of generosity is a seed that multiplies into restoration stories you may never witness. The light you help sustain will illuminate paths for others stumbling through the dark. But remember, give only if peace walks beside the impulse. The kingdom is built not by pressure, but by love. A forced gift carries no fragrance, but a willing one fills heaven with aroma. Your yes might look like a prayer whispered in secret, a share that reaches a stranger, a donation that keeps the flame alive. Whatever form it takes, let it come from the overflow of gratitude, not guilt. Because when heaven crowns you, it isn't asking for repayment, it's offering partnership. You've been entrusted with light. Now, how you carry it forward becomes part of your worship. And one day, When you look back, you'll realize your giving of time, of kindness, of faith wasn't a loss. It was legacy. You weren't just hearing a message, you were helping write it. So, as this message settles into your heart, take a breath. Feel the weight of your unseen crown. You've earned it through endurance, humility, and love. Now, help another weary traveler remember their worth. Lift your torch. Share the flame. Let the story continue. If you feel led, sow into this light like pouring oil into a lamp that still burns through the night. Because that's what chosen ones do. They carry fire, not fame. And the world, weary and wandering, still needs your glow. There are moments in life when heaven's voice becomes instruction rather than comfort. You've prayed for understanding, and now wisdom begins to unfold, not through visions or thunder, but through quiet direction. One obedient step at a time. The season of waiting has prepared your ears to hear. And now heaven speaks with clarity. Do what I've already placed in your hands. Dapperly, you've been asking for a sign while standing beside the assignment. The instruction isn't new. It's simply being repeated with new urgency. The next chapter of your story won't be written by sudden miracles, but by steady obedience. It was spoken in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. That single command still echoes through time. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's movement despite it. And obedience is the language through which heaven writes miracles. You've been standing at a spiritual crossroads for some time, hesitant, wondering if you're ready. But readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Heaven isn't waiting for your perfection, it's waiting for your participation. God's instruction rarely arrives with a full map. It often comes as a single direction, asking for trust with every turn. Abraham didn't see the entire promise, he just heard, go. Noah didn't know the future rain, he just built. Mary didn't understand the plan, she simply said, let it be unto me. All it. And now heaven whispers to you, move. Not run, not rush, move. Take the step you've been delaying. Send the message you've been avoiding. Forgive the person you've been resisting. The small acts of obedience become the bridges to larger revelations. There's a story of a young woman named Kale who longed for direction. She prayed for signs, begged for answers, but every door seemed closed. One morning, exhausted, she whispered, Lord, what do you want me to do? And in the stillness, a thought came, do the next right thing. She realized she had been waiting for heaven to move first. When heaven had been waiting for her, that's the heart of this season movement, through obedience. You don't need to see the outcome to take the first step. Faith isn't walking when you understand, it's walking until you do. The instructions you're receiving now are small but sacred. Heaven tests stewardship before expansion. The next miracle won't fall from the sky, it will rise from your consistency. The divine isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as waking up and choosing alignment again. You've learned much through your valleys and victories. And now, heaven trusts you with responsibility. The blessings that are about to unfold are not random, they're responsive. Every act of obedience triggers a corresponding release. Think of a river. It doesn't rush, it follows its course. Steady, directed. Sure, you are that river now. Heaven doesn't need you to strive just to flow. There will still be moments of uncertainty, moments when the step ahead looks too dark. But remember, light is revealed, one footstep at a time. You were never promised full visibility, only divine companionship. When you hesitate, remind yourself of the truth you've already survived, what once scared you. The same strength that carried you through the last storm will carry you into the next season. Heaven's instruction will not always feel convenient, but it will always be correct. The peace that follows obedience is proof that you heard right. You may not feel ready, but that's exactly why you are. Obedience doesn't require readiness, it produces it. Every yes you give heaven makes room for heaven to move closer. And when you finally act on what you've been delaying, you'll realize something sacred. The miracle was never waiting outside of you. It was waiting for you. The key was in your hand all along. You just needed to turn it. So take the step, write the chapter, speak the truth, move forward, not in fear, but in faith. The instruction is clear, and heaven's timing is now. And as you obey, you'll see what obedience always reveals: provision on the path, peace in the process, and purpose waiting on the other side. Obedience may feel small at first, but heaven measures it as greatness. Each step you take in trust reshapes your path, aligning unseen doors to open at the exact moment you arrive. The quiet yes you give today becomes tomorrow's undeniable miracle. Every act of obedience plants a seed in eternity's soil. You might not see the fruit immediately, but heaven never forgets a faithful heart. What begins as surrender always returns as strength, reminding you that divine instruction is never meant to limit, it's meant to lead. The night is nearly over. The sky that once felt endless and heavy is turning soft, streaked with the first color of dawn. You've waited so long for this light that you almost forgot what hope feels like. But here it is, subtle, warm, steady, the proof that everything you endured had purpose. This is the moment heaven promised, not loud or dramatic, but holy in its quietness, the fulfillment of what was whispered to you in tears, the answer that began forming long before you knew the question to ask. It's not coming, it's here. The stillness you feel right now isn't emptiness, it's arrival. As written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Envit, you've lived through the valley, you've wrestled in the waiting, and now the dawn greets you by name. The darkness didn't disappear in one instant. It retreated because it realized it could no longer stay. The light doesn't erase your scars, it reveals what they became: signs of survival, symbols of grace. Every scar now glows with the memory of mercy. You are not defined by what broke you, but by what rebuilt you. There's a peace that only comes after the storm, and it's settling over you now. Not the fragile calm that depends on circumstance, but the deep, anchored peace that survives even when waves still roll. It's the peace that says, "I've seen too much of God's faithfulness to doubt it now." You have become the evidence that light is stronger than darkness. Your very presence is testimony. Where once there was trembling, now there's strength. Where once there was uncertainty, now there's quiet wisdom. You don't need to strive anymore. You only need to stand. Look around you. The world hasn't changed overnight, but your vision has. The same challenges remain, yet they no longer own your heart. You see differently now. You recognize the fingerprints of God in places that once looked empty. There's a chosen one whose journey mirrors yours. His name was Leor. After years of waiting, loss, and silence, he woke one morning to realize he wasn't chasing peace anymore. He was walking in it. The answers hadn't all arrived, but the fear was gone. That's when he knew the promise had been fulfilled, not through the absence of struggle, but through the presence of serenity. That's the miracle happening to you. Heaven didn't just change your surroundings, it changed your center. You used to pray for deliverance. Now you pray for alignment. You used to ask, "When will this end?" Now you ask, "What is heaven building in me through this?" This shift is divine maturity, the point when faith stops being about outcomes and becomes about intimacy. You've learned to rest instead of wrestle, to listen instead of demand, to trust instead of control. Even the quiet feels different now. What once felt like delay now feels like design. The silence that used to haunt you now feels like harmony. You've discovered that peace was never the absence of noise, but the presence of God in every breath. Your heart, once restless, has become a garden. The soil has been turned, the weeds removed, and now the first blossoms of purpose are breaking through. What heaven planted in secret is finally ready to be seen. Every waiting season ends in harvest, and yours is here. It won't arrive in one grand moment, but in 1,000 gentle confirmations, unexpected kindness, open doors, unexplainable calm. Each one will whisper, "This is the fulfillment." And as you walk into the day ahead, you'll realize something simple yet profound. The miracle isn't that the storm stopped, it's that you're still standing in sunlight. You've been transformed from the inside out. You no longer chase signs because you've become one. You no longer beg for light because you carry it. You no longer fear tomorrow because you finally understand who walks beside you. This is the dawn of recognition, the moment heaven looks at you and says, "Well done." The journey wasn't easy, but it was necessary. The valley was deep, but so are your roots. And now, the same ground that held your sorrow will hold your song. Stand still for a moment. Let the sunlight rest on your face. Feel what peace feels like when it's no longer borrowed, but yours. The waiting is over. The morning has come, and as the sun fully rises, you understand it was never just about reaching the light, but becoming it. You are living proof that dawn always finds those who refuse to stop believing. You've reached the final word of this journey, and heaven is smiling. You've walked through fire, silence, revelation, and light. And now you stand, radiant, stronger, softer, wiser. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of how you live differently because of what's been awakened inside you. As you breathe in this peace, remember, messages like these travel further when carried by hearts like yours. When you like, share, or subscribe, you're not performing a task, you're extending a thread of light. Somewhere, someone is still wandering through the same valley you've just crossed. Your single action can become the lantern they follow home. Your comment is your echo in eternity. It doesn't need to be long. Sometimes a single word, a single heart, or a brief line of gratitude can ripple far beyond what eyes can see. When you write beneath this message, it's like setting a stone of remembrance in the river of faith, so others know they're not alone crossing it. And if these words have met you in a tender place, if they've helped you heal or hope again, consider this. To give is to add oil to the flame that guided you, not because you must, but because you may. The light you sustain will warm countless souls still searching in the dark. When you give, it's like placing your own candle beside ours, small, steady, but together they form a constellation. Each gift, no matter its size, keeps the night from reclaiming the horizon. That's how love multiplies quietly, beautifully, forever. You've carried light through this journey. Now carry it forward. Lift it, share it, and let its glow become someone else's morning. You are no longer just a listener. You are a keeper of flame, a messenger of renewal, a living proof that hope always rises again.